we got podcasting royalty in the building. First of all, I want to hype this one up because we don't get to record as often as I would like. Because I do love hearing you talk. I love your opinions. I love what you bring out of me. You were one of the first people, like as a guest that came on that really challenged my thinking on something, which I appreciate. And you drop knowledge, like, and I'm gonna get to who it is in a minute. You guys hear her voice, but like, I remember we did an episode together, and it was still in my first year of podcasting. And you explained to me how, like, pay attention to the way the black women vote. And I had never heard that before. And at this point now, it's like, it's this whole election. I was talking about it this whole upcoming election. And like, you really said something to me that completely fundamentally changed the way that I looked at voting in this country. So that's you may not even know that.
I have no idea. Wow.
So that was an amazing intro. That is Miss Stephanie Williams from the Mocha Minutes Podcast. What's going on, Adam?
How are you? I'm warm now. I'm usually always cold, hence why I brought out a 11-year-old Snuggie. And people be like, where did you get a Snuggie from? Girl, I've had this for like 11 years, okay? I've had a very long time. I washed it recently because I did my laundry, and I was like, oh my God, it smells so good. And it's gotten softer. I'm like, ugh. But yeah, I am good. That just warmed me up. You know, I adore you, Haize. You know I do.
And it's funny because, you know, I've had a lot of guests on this podcast. There's a lot of people that I've worked with, collab with, but it's different when you meet somebody face to face. And like, when we met in New York, like that energy that we had when we recorded, it was tripled. Like it wasn't even like we and it really felt like family, and like we've been cool ever since then. And you know, if you, no matter what you do, if you need me there, you one of the few people that I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna find a way, even in the panoramic.
Come on, dance to this patty cake, okay? Dance.
But no, and I know people are gonna listen to it and be like, "Hey, he's just trying to hype up his guests or not." But for real, like, your energy is something that I feel like, for those who have gotten to experience in person, they can't help but to be changed by it, or you leave an impact for them. Because
have you talked to Taria from What Else Is Going On? Because I feel like y'all like exchanging notes, because that is my girl.
I have not, but yeah, it's real. It's real. And you know, people come and go in this podcasting game, and like,
right.
I may stop podcasting at some point, as much as I love it, but like,
because he's gonna turn into an actor. He's got a second short film coming out. I'm like, oh, okay, come on, Michael B. Jordan, come on out here. And man, I know what y'all about to say. I'm like, that's not the person. Y'all better leave Michael Bakari Jordan alone, okay? Let him be pretty and act.
Man, listen, I don't understand why people are hating on Laura. Like, people are so weird, because everybody wants
Very
happiness, but then when they see it, they immediately question or throw some shade on it. Like, let them people be happy. Man.
She is so beautiful. I think it's so interesting that we are in this thought that when it comes to Black women, they gotta struggle with love. It's always gotta be a struggle. You always gotta settle or take 3 levels down. And I'm like, so first of all, no tea, no shade. Lori Harvey went 1 level down with Michael B. Jordan, but that's neither here or there, because I think she's just stunning. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it's like
she took a level down.
I think I'm talking about looks wise. I'm just kidding. There's just 2 pretty Black people, and I enjoy them. And Michael's like, let me tell y'all asses something. Y'all gonna stop acting like I don't like Black women. I'm gonna post her pretty ass all over my Instagram. I'm like, oh, I see what you did there, Michael. We're going to leave you alone for a minute. It's fine. We're going to leave you alone for a minute. We're going to see how long until Lori get tired of your ass.
Yeah. We'll see. She's young, so we'll see. But they are a beautiful couple. And I love love. Like, I'm somebody, like, in my old age, getting older, like, seriously, I love seeing people in love. And that, 5 years ago, if you would have told me I'd be saying this, I would have been like, you lying to me. But I really do enjoy seeing people in love, no matter if it's temporary. If 6 months from now they going at each other on Twitter, I just love seeing people in love, because it's rare.
Yeah, it is, and I'm the same way. At our big ages, we're like, no, we just want to see people happy, and also I don't like seeing people struggle, and I don't like attaching struggle to Blackness. I'm tired of y'all, because that's what happens when we have non-white friends. It's like, oh, I know what it's like to be Black because I live in the hood. So first of all, fuck you. Second of all, do not think that because you are in my neighborhood, in my zip code, that you can walk in my shoes. Baby, you can't match my rhythm and you can't take my blues. So what you won't do is actually equate it. I'm like, stop acting like if you have to pay, instead of $1.98 for your food as opposed to $3.84 for your food, that you know what it's like to be black. You don't.
The thing that I always to double down on that point, right? Mm-hmm. Shameless is set in South Side of Chicago. I don't know if you watched it.
I hear things. I haven't watched Shameless yet.
Amazing show.
I hear things about that.
But The Chi is also set in the South Side of Chicago. So anytime somebody tries to use the whole I live in the hood thing, when you look at the completely different perspectives, and both those shows are written by people who also grew up in the South Side of Chicago.
Right.
So when you look at the different perspectives and the different ways that we live, even in our struggles, it's completely different. Like Shameless is a comedy because white people can have comedy in their struggle. Black people, on the other hand, our struggle, like, we find enjoyment out of it because that's what you do when you're in a hard situation. But it's not funny if you take a real snapshot of people and black people living in struggle. Ain't shit funny about that.
Absolutely not. And we are, when it comes to black people, we are, if to laugh to stop from crying were a people, that is black people. Like, we got to laugh about this shit. We got to have gallows humor about our walk in this world. I can't even say just America, because Black UK strife, I don't know what it is. South African Black strife, I don't know what that is. Caribbean strife, I don't know what that is. And everybody's strife is different. Like, I was in a clubhouse room and the title was a troll title. I can get this as a troll because it was, what is wrong with black women? And there were people in there talking about blackness and they wanted to talk about the diaspora. And one of the people, and for the most part, it was like she was fine, but she was like, for black people, we don't unite and do things. And then she brought up white people and was like, and they unite. And I was just like, it took me 20 minutes to speak because a lot of other people spoke before me. And I said, so the first point is, I need us to stop comparing ourselves to white people because we're under this impression they really, really, really do unite. I'm like, that's not even historically accurate. Because every white person in this country now, if your ancestors immigrated here, they were not white. Italians were not white. Polish Jews were not white. German Jews, nobody was white unless you were born in America. And then they realized their race is a monster, need more teeth. They're like, oh, Jews, y'all can come over. Italians, y'all can come over because they used to be right on them signs.
They used to hate Italians just like they hated black people. Like,
hello. And Irish, they didn't like y'all under the pressure. We think that they unite. I'm like, yeah, not really, because even like in an economic way, white people don't unite. It's like I think someone's like, oh, y'all can call us crackers, but we can't say the N-word. So let me tell you the fallacy in your argument. You just said N-word. You didn't say the word. So you already know you done fucked up.
You already know.
It's like, you can't say it. But also do realize that didn't come from black people. We ain't make that up. Your rich ancestors broke that up. Your rich buddies, their ancestors made up the word cracker, not us. We didn't make up white trash. That was your buddies, because when it comes to money, if you have more, you can treat people like shit. And it's like, whew. And white people don't like, I don't want to be treated like a black person. But y'all keep telling us that we should just accept what we got. And you don't want to be treated like a black person. I want to be treated like a minority. So you realize that minorities are treated unfairly.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
And people don't realize that how they speak on things exposes their own biases. And it's something that I do want to bring up to you. This is going to talk about it even within our community. But I want to say on this for a minute is that to be an ally, I understand why some people do it. I'm not saying this is all universally. Some people think to be an ally, they have to do that. Oh, well, no, to be an ally, all you have to do is honestly say, I know as a white person, I could never understand what you go through, but I'm tired of seeing you guys go through it. That's all you need to be an ally. You don't have to do this whole thing of I understand and I hate, like, I get it. Like, call out the bullshit, but you don't have to placate to us because we know what the fuck we go through. We know that, right? You don't have to placate that to us. If to be an ally, support us. Stand on those lines with us. Protest with us. But we don't need you to try to act like you all of a sudden understand what we go through, because you just can't. You can, just like we can't understand some of the things that white people go through. You can never. I don't give a damn if you live amongst black people for 20 years in a row. You can still never truly understand, because our blackness is not something that we can take off. No matter where you go, you're white. No matter where you go, you're white. You don't get profiled the same way that we do. We can't take our blackness off. So that's something you can never understand.
Absolutely. They can't understand it. And when you explain that, they just go, but like, you can't be an ally and center yourself in it. You cannot be an ally and center yourself. You're not an ally. You're using this for clout. I'm like, we don't need clout chasers. We don't need people walking up and down on us. We've had enough of that. We're done with you. Like, I don't need you to say, oh, I know exactly. I'm like, I don't think you ever will. You don't understand. You never will understand. And it's like, I need y'all to stop. It's like, I don't know what it's like I am a cis woman, so I don't know what it's like to be a trans woman. And I don't know what it's like that every so often, like clockwork, because I think we're up to 6 or 7 or 8 black trans women who have been killed in 2021.
It's crazy.
And so it's like, I don't know what it's like that if I may open up my Twitter, depending on who I follow, who's in my timeline, who's in my Instagram, and I find out another black trans woman has been killed. I don't know what that feels like, especially when you still have people going, well, you're not a real woman anyway. I'm like, so first of all, fuck you. Mm-hmm. Second of all, just leave them alone. I'm like, you don't get to tell somebody how to identify. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't care.
I don't know, like, because my
I don't
Twitter
like that y'all putting sugar in grits, but I let y'all live.
Listen, I'm a sugar and grits person. How dare you? Oh.
But my boo so is, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Y'all seem very versatile on the grits because y'all like grits are savory because I like it with my shrimp. But I also, in the morning with my toast, I put a little sugar in it with the butter. So I get it. I'm like, for verse grits eaters, I'm like, I'm gonna leave you guys alone.
But and this is something that, like, to go back to what I said, how people expose their biases. I tweeted out, it was about a month ago at this point. I said, I had a tweet that said, when we talk about black women needing to be protected, we need to not forget about trans women also need to be protected. Look at the number of trans women who lost their lives. While most of the response I got to that was overwhelmingly, you're right, whatever, there was a couple of course, black men who then commented stuff like, well, if you like trans women, just say that. And I had to correct them. I'm like, see, that's the issue. Is that you think that women only need to be protected according to your attraction to them. So me saying protect all trans women because that's the way that your mind works, you will automatically think that I'm attracted to trans women. I'm not. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that when you see somebody disproportionately losing their lives, if you're not moved by that, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So it's like,
ooh, go ahead.
No, it's just like, and that's the thing that. And again, there were a lot of black men also who commented like, you're right. So I'm not going to try to put this all on all black men, but seriously, that's just something that I've noticed is that people seem to think that only people that they're attracted to deserve their protection. And as men, as kings, as leaders, if we're not protecting our people, what the fuck are we really doing?
So can I just tell you what I've realized in my big age? For a lot of black men, their relationships with black women have always been transactional, even to their mothers. It's kind of like, if I get something, I get something back. You know, it's always been transactional. Any woman that's around them, it's a transactional relationship. So for them, it's like, the only way I could do something for a woman is if I'm going to get something out of it. And that has always been, and we don't realize it when we're young. We don't realize it when we're in our 20s and our early 30s. It's like, you got to be like mid to late 30s and then your 40s, if you're lucky. I've seen others and I'm like, girl, I need you to use that read code for Talkspace because some of y'all need a therapist. It's like, just, girl, get a therapist. It's like, what are you doing? Baby, stop this. So it's like, for a lot of men, it's transactional. If I can't get something out of it, I'm not going to help you. Because it's weird to see how some of the guys are saying, not all, hashtag not all men, because Lord have mercy, where men say women are gold diggers, but in the same breath go, look, if I get her a medium rare steak, I better be getting some pussy tonight. So, but you said, like, y'all don't realize how fucked up that reasoning really is. It's like, you can't possibly be nice to a woman. And if you are somebody like you, if you are somebody like a Conscious Lee, or you're somebody who's like been speaking about this, and people are like, man, you just simping for pussy. So y'all are really proving my point that you think your relationships with women, friends, family, romantic, whatever, it's just transactional. If you can't get nothing out of it, then I don't want it. It's like that's so when a guy does that, it's like they treat him like he's a unicorn. I'm like, that's very interesting. Like at a young age, my father would show me stuff on the car. He showed me how to check oil. He showed me how to change a tire. And I think I asked him once and I said, why do you show me how to do this? And he's like, because I don't want you dependent on no man. I'm like, and he's a man. And so it's like when there was a big thing on the timeline when we used to say men are trash. I'm like, y'all do that and y'all just hearing it from other women. Please believe, indirectly or directly or subtly, we heard that from other men. Yeah. That's the gag. A lot of men know men are trash, just like a lot of white people know white people are racist. I'm like, please stop thinking y'all don't know that. That's why y'all won't let your friends date your sisters.
And some of us have come to the realization that at one point we were trash.
Right. You're like, man, I'm like, yeah, right now, for all the guys who are reformed men are trash, they're now compost. It's like, I can use this. It's better. It's been recycled. You're no longer trash, you're compost. Compost has a purpose, but I think a lot of it is like, you just realize it's like, damn, I knew this. Damn, I knew this. Damn, I didn't even notice this. It's like unplugged. Once you unsee stuff, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee stuff. You're like, damn, that's how we act. It's like, even when you hear queer black men who say, I don't like going to the barbershop. And it's like, why? He's like, I don't feel safe. And you just go, now, I'm not a man. I haven't been in a barbershop on like a consistent basis, but every so often I've been, if I had to go with my brother when he was younger. And, I remember some of those conversations. So yeah, it tracks. But you're in a barbershop, so you're like, that's wrong. It's like, is it though? Is it though?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like and it's like waking up in the Matrix, right? Like that moment that he told Neo that deja vu is actually you seeing the Matrix repeat itself, and then he started noticing that. That's really what it becomes. Like once you wake up to certain things, you start seeing the world differently.
Yeah.
And so we need more brothers to not only come to that place, because I think more times than not, some people, of course, way earlier and some people way later than others come wake up to that point earlier, but we need to speak out on it. We need to call each other out on the shit. I have this whole iron sharpens iron. Correct. And if men aren't willing to call each other out because they're worried about being, labeled as a simp or whatever people try to call for you not to call men out on their shit, but we need to get to a point where we're comfortable in calling our brothers out and shit, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to improve, and that thus improve the lives in the way that our women can live and feel protected.
Correct. I really enjoyed when you talked about beta men, and here men came literally out of the skylight like Batman. Like, first of all, you don't know what he's like. So you're proving my point. Okay, have a good day. I mean, I don't know. I didn't call you. I didn't call you in here to be a jester in my court, but yet here you are. It's like, oh, okay, you're just proving my point. Men don't like to do that. It's like they don't like, look here, don't be saying this. I'm like, a lot of the conversations we have are in-house conversations. And when it comes to protecting Black women, y'all need to have a conversation. We're tired of telling you this, because I get what people are saying when they say women need to be armed. When are y'all going to have the conversation of why are they arming themselves? Why would women have to arm themselves against us? Nobody wants to get to that part. I had put on my Facebook a meme of a girl that was holding a cardboard sign that said, when are we going to stop telling women to choose better and tell men to be better? And this man who never comments on my Facebook, we're Facebook friends, we used to work together, I barely have seen his ass. He never comments on my shit. He came out of nowhere and said, yeah, if these women doing all these challenges and y'all ain't have no respect for yourselves. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking? What does that have to do with anything I just said? Now it's like, and my mama raised me. Obviously she did not. Your mama loved you. Your mama didn't raise you. Let's be very clear, because there's a lot of Black women that subscribe to that thinking. I'm going to love my sons and raise my daughters. I'm gonna call her a bitch probably, but I'm gonna raise her so that she can be like domestic, because apparently for a lot of people, that's how you measure women. Can she make me dinner? But then also saying, I'm tired of eating chicken Alfredo. Nigga, didn't you just ask her to make you something? Now you being choosy? Go get on Uber Eats and order your own fucking food. It's like, I'm like, what's wrong with having chicken Alfredo? And I know how to cook, but I'm not doing it for some man. I'm doing it because I like to cook. So it's like,
exactly.
And there's a woman who just don't. And then if you say you don't like to cook, what kind of woman are you? The one that can afford to eat out? I don't know. It's like I don't know.
I love it. Now you guys see why I had to have her on. I love it.
That should be that funny. It's like, I don't understand. You mad because I got money to eat out? Excuse me. I want to split the bill. Child, these date conversations always take me out. I'm like,
so, I have to ask your question, because this is shit that's been coming up more and more on social media. Mm-hmm. Kevin Samuels, is that his name?
Why does that name sound familiar?
The guy who like invites women on his show and then he like basically dogs them.
Oh, that fuck. It's like, why are y'all doing this to yourselves? First of all, sir, you're not even remotely attractive enough to even say that. I don't even give a damn if you were attractive. First of all, who the fuck do you think? Well, I mean, you think you a 10, but you really like a 4. I can smell your breath from here. You can go to hell.
But so again, Kevin, he is somebody who he got ignored as a kid or growing up.
Oh, you can definitely.
He thought that getting money was going to fix that for him. Mm-hmm. He got what he thought was success. People still found him corny. So then he built a whole platform tearing down women. He's when I talked about beta males and false alpha males, he's the picture perfect example of that. He tries to present as an alpha. He's really a beta. If he's even that. And the issue with what he does is, and I know he does bring men on too, but if you notice how he talks to men, he also only does other beta males, and he will never challenge an alpha male. Like it bothers me because people like him, and then there's another dude called Jaye Black, have built their whole platforms off tearing down women. And it's like, this is what makes y'all feel like y'all in a leadership position. This is what makes y'all feel like y'all alphas, by just tearing down the people that we're supposed to be protecting. And it's the mindset like that. They're the type of people who feel challenged, because I had a whole episode where I broke down this dude Jaye Black's theory, because he had a episode in which he pointed out how when you let women have more opportunities, they lose their femininity. Man, I was pissed off.
I know you was sitting there on fire.
Oh my God.
I know you were vibrating like, if I don't get on this mic and talk about this, I'm going to explode. I'm like, have you lost your mind? Every time it's like, why are y'all sitting here acting like, sometimes you just go, y'all are not well. Now I need to know what strain y'all are smoking, because you're not well. It's so interesting when we talk about men and dating, they're always talking about a woman's worth. I'm like, why should she be worthy of this and worthy of that? Y'all not having the conversations like, point out why you are worthy of submission. Y'all don't, a lot of people don't want to have that conversation about submission. I'm like, so I need you to stop cherry picking words out of the Bible and thinking you understand. Because you don't understand what submission truly is, and a lot of us don't. And it's like, but you can just work towards partnership before you want submission. It's like, and also realize that a lot of Black women have tired of submitting to fools. It's like, I just want to lead. If you are leading me down off a cliff, then I don't need to follow you. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. Some of y'all don't know how to write a check. Some of y'all don't know how to balance a goddamn bank account, but you want her to just like, oh, I know you are a COO and you got 3 degrees, but can you step down to my level so I can fuck you? No. Have a good day. I'm not like, y'all want women to dumb themselves down. The demographic that is the most educated or seeking the most education is Black women. When it comes to entrepreneurship, it's Black women. It's like, and then it's like, oh, can you slow down? No, baby, you can speed up. I'm Usain bolting this shit. You need to hurry the fuck up, okay? It's so tiresome. I'm like, you think it's okay to tear down her looks, but if I talk about your that one little raggedy tooth, and how your beard and your mustache don't connect, or the fact that like your regular, that number 7 that you get at that same barber school, not shop, school, is looking very whack. You're like, well, first of all, you're fat. Baby, I'm still fabulous. I still got my shit together. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need to don't subtract from my life, add or multiply. It's like, I don't need to struggle with you. I'm like, you a grown ass man. I'm not here. Don't do it. It's like, oh my God, women, they need to nurture our feelings. How? If you don't nurture our feelings? I have a therapist. What's your problem? You got health insurance?
And the thing is black men don't understand, like, for protection, we're supposed to protect not only physically, we're supposed to protect mentally, we're supposed to protect emotionally, we're supposed to protect spiritually. But like, you got to be in touch with your own emotions to be able to protect somebody else's emotions. Like, as we got to stop with this thinking that we got to be a wall thing to be hard. Like,
no,
there's nothing
hard. This is be the man. I'm like, no, that's a robot. That is not a grown man.
Exactly. And like, it just, and I'm so happy that I'm raising emotionally intelligent boys. Like my 14-year-old, like I love the fact that he is one of the most emotionally intelligent people that I know. And I'm not just saying for his age. I mean, period. The fact where he is at 14 literally took me to almost 30 to get to that emotional intelligence level. And that's because I had a father. My father was great, but I had one of those fathers that were the very typical, you don't feel, you don't show emotion, shut the fuck up, put dirt on it, and whatever. And I know he did that. That was his version of trying to make sure that I was going to be prepared for the world. I understand that's what he was trying to do. But we are the first generation to understand the true importance of mental health. What do I look like putting I know the program, and it's the years it took me to break that program and then allow myself to feel. Part of the reason, and this is just me being honest, part of the reason my marriage failed, we loved each other, but I was not pouring into her emotionally, and we both had issues the way that she needed, because for the majority of the time we knew each other, I wasn't in touch with my emotions. So I can only think about like how that had to leave her feeling as the person next to me to be crying out, needing me emotionally, and not the fact that I didn't want to do it. I didn't know how. So we got to get back in touch with our emotions. We got to be able to do that, to be the natural born leaders that we can be. To be the best version of that, you have to be in touch with your emotions.
You do. And it can't be that I'm only going to get I'm only going to pour into her if I can get something. Again, transactionally. But I think what I see, and I'm glad that you are giving your child space to feel, because that's the other thing. It's like, you are raising children in a millennial age where even still in 2021, we don't let kids be kids. It's like our Black children are like adults at 10 years old. And I'm like, yeah, no. It's like, I can't do this with y'all. Like, I don't understand. It's like, why are y'all okay? It's like, it's okay for them to cry. It's like, so many years we told Black men that we're Black boys that you can't cry, you can't show emotion. It's like, that's some bitch shit. It's like, you ain't no female, which done. I'm not having this conversation with y'all about female not a goddamn other time. I'm not doing it. But we don't allow men to feel, and then they say, why can't my woman just take care of me and be my therapist? Because there actually are people who went to school for therapy. If I got to get a therapist, you do. You do not see no women walk around like, I just want my man to, be my therapist. Notice we ain't saying that. There's obvious reasons, but there's subtle reasons that we don't want to discuss, because we said not all men, Batman jumps out of nowhere. Like, first of all, don't be putting us all in a box. Also, this is why I don't date Black women. What?
Oh my Jesus!
What?
Don't even get me started on that.
It's like, I need y'all. It's like, when we talk about how did these non-white women get into these spaces? How did they get here? Y'all bring them, and then when we say something, we are called bitter and we are haters and we hate them. So after a while, we stop talking, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't understand how Rachel got in here. I had to get into it with a woman. I was like, oh, please believe me, if you read her book, you'll understand it was because of men. Nobody didn't clock her Blackness. Oh yes, they did, but when they did, they were called haters. That happens a lot. It's like, someone put up a TikTok, and they did the comparison of how people were talking about Little Baby's baby mama versus Iggy Azalea. Now, when it came to Iggy, they were like, oh, you poor thing, and oh my gosh, this is so bad. Little Baby, you bitter baby mama, why are you doing this? It's like, we're doing this to our own women. It's like, wait a minute. So this Australian white woman who got a fucking Black scent, and she's from fucking Australia, and y'all bought her fucking music, can like get the sympathy and empathy y'all don't extend to Black women. And then at the same time, like, y'all don't support us. And it's like, so when are we going to have that in-house conversation? I'm like, I get it. We can't have these conversations with other ears and eyes around because it gets diluted or sugar-coated, or people are like, we should recognize who's in the room. If you're going to be in my room where I have to express my feelings and my thoughts based on my experience, and you telling me I need to make it so you can feel better, you can leave out the room. We are done with trying to coddle your feelings. History is taught to coddle white feelings. The reason why a lot of y'all thought that Watchmen made up the Tulsa Massacre is because it's not fucking taught.
Listen.
It was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Y'all built this up. It's like, hi, hello. That actually did happen. They're like, really? Yeah. It's like, what? I'm like, y'all want Juneteenth to be a federal holiday and y'all don't even understand what Juneteenth was. I'm like, I need y'all to understand what happened. It's not it's a big deal. It's a big deal to Black people, especially Southern Black people, because they had been free for like 2 years and nobody told them because y'all didn't want to educate Black people. That's why they didn't want y'all to fucking read. That's why they didn't want y'all to vote. It's like, that's why they start, because one, Black men had to vote before Black women. So Black men started putting more Black men in. They're like, oh no, we got to start having, like, y'all gonna have to start getting the voting tax. Y'all gonna have to start catching these jelly beans. Y'all gonna have, no, we need these niggers out. It's like, no, we're not gonna do this. And then white women was like, oh my God, we want to vote too. And they fought for their right to vote. Black women were still there. It's like, oh, we don't want you niggers voting either. It's like, so why did you need us? Why did you need our help? Oh, because we're organized? Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. It's like, we're everybody's help. But when we need help, we get the help from other Black women. There was a Red Table Talk, and it's like, I have my complicated relationship with the Red Table Talk. Okay. When some of the conversations I thoroughly enjoy. Others are the conversation with T.I. And but they had an episode where they had Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill on with them, and they were talking about how Black women don't support each other. And I felt a way about that because I'm like, my biggest supporters are Black women, but I think it should have been prefaced with the male-centered Black women or women in general. And when you are male-centered, you have no problem shitting on other women, because I tell everybody, all misogynists are not male. I really want y'all to understand. Misogynist doesn't mean,
absolutely. Right.
The misogyny is not men who hate women. It's you don't like women. And there are a lot of women who hate other women and see them as purely competition. I'm like, girl, I do not want to go and eat chicken fingers with your boy Tyrone at the Applebee's, okay? I am not jealous of that. I'm like, I don't want your man. I'm not competing for attention with you. So that's where it is. It's male-centered women that are like, oh, I'll treat other women like shit. I'll shit on trans women. I'll shit on fat Black women. I'll shit on dark-skinned Black women. Okay. I need to ask a question because I feel like I am very, very old.
Okay, which you're not.
So I'm talking about for like slang, because we don't even say slang. We say AAVE, and I'm like, okay.
Man, you know what? Seriously, so one of the things. So there have been two things recently that really showed me my age. I remember I tried to get on TikTok and figure it out. It was the first time ever in social media. I was like, you know what? Y'all got it.
Y'all got it. I'm gonna let y'all do that because I was like, this is a business.
Y'all got and keep in mind, I edit videos damn near for a living, and I don't. Right. I can't get with the TikTok.
This is why Jason will get all this money to do TikToks because goddamn, I'm like, you need to be rich because I'm like, they need to pay you and that is bad, Haize. That you're like, nah, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Y'all got it.
I'm good. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
Y'all got it. But then,
go ahead.
It's how people, all the abbreviations, and people convey whole messages with emojis and like abbreviations of everything. And I'm just looking at this shit like I have literally no fucking idea what you just meant by this.
Like I gotta go to Urban Dictionary. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Yeah. It's like I don't know. I feel like what the kids be talking about. That's how I feel. And I'm like, I know I'm not that old, but.
Okay, so what do you think about So we talk about colorism often, right? And the Danny Lee thing I completely get. So I'm not applying it to that situation. I'm just saying generally. When we very often, if somebody has a preference for the lighter skinned black woman, I'm saying we as a culture, not me and you, we'll call it out, reference colorism and how that affects darker skinned women. But very rarely, if somebody has a preference for darker skin, do we throw out the same colorism comments. What do you think about that?
So I think it's because of the concept of colorism. So colorism is a detriment to darker skinned people and always a benefit to lighter skinned people.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think when it comes to that,
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.